You are tuning into The Deal. I'm Danny Brown, and every week I interview the best real estate agents in the world and talk about seven-figure commissions, celebrity and high-profile clients, and the craziest real estate stories you could ever imagine. Enjoy this week's episode. Jonathan Rosen, welcome to The Deal. What's going on, brother?
How you doing, Danny? Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you, coming live from Dallas. What's going on in Dallas these days, my man? Tell me about the market and the Dallas world.
It's hot. Dallas is hot in temperature, and the market is doing much better than it was 6 months ago. So,
really?
Yeah, it started to actually pick up again. We're feeling some good buy and sell pressure. So, I mean, we're still so light on inventory, but it's good. I mean, honestly, it's good. This year's been a whole lot better than last year.
Oh, that's good. Good to know. We mentioned this a little before we started recording, but I know during COVID and soon after, there was a huge exodus of California and Southern California and LA buyers to Dallas and to Texas overall. You said that's still happening, but not at the same velocity. Is that?
Yeah, no, it's not the same pace. I mean, but we're still seeing. I mean, I'm working with 3 buyers from Santa Monica right now, and one from LA, one from Santa Monica, another one from La Jolla. So we're still seeing people coming. I mean, I don't see it stopping.
Yeah, it's still coming. So, are you seeing still good? You seeing sales activity across all price points, even the mid to high end?
I mean, I would say the high end in like the last 3 or 4 months has really picked up. Earlier this year was super slow.
And what are some of the big sales? Give me an example of some of the high-end sales that are happening.
Like we closed 14.75 maybe 3 months ago. Another 11.5 4 months ago. We're working a couple of bigger deals right now, which is good.
Is this Preston Hollow or what areas?
The one at 11.5 was Preston Hollow. The one at 14.75 was Highland Park. And then we've got a couple of really good listings we've got a listing for $25 million in Highland Park and another one for $15.5. And another one that we're working on about 10 and 12, but we're starting to see buyers. And I've gotten this week, especially gotten 3 or 4 calls this week with people wanting to come look at some of the bigger product.
Those are big numbers, not so different from LA. So tell me what is the biggest deal you've seen in Dallas? What's the biggest deal you've been involved with?
I mean, honestly, the biggest one would be in COVID. It was a property over off Straight Lane, which is in Preston Hollow. It was listed at 25. It was 4.5 acres. It was known as the water park. I'm sure you can look it up and Google it. There's literally a lazy river water park in the back. It was nuts.
Awesome,
but it was a good sale.
What was the commission on that baby? A big one.
It was a good commission. 2.5% one guy.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's a big time commission. So talk to me about some of the craziest stuff that happens in Dallas real estate. Whether something that's happened to you or something you've seen. Have you seen any sort of wild stuff going down or funny or whatever? Something that you're allowed to share?
We see some interesting things, especially in dealing with new construction a lot and getting into buyers' specifications on what they want. We sold this house maybe about 5 years ago. There's a remodel on 3.5 acres or so. This guy, he wanted to turn a closet into a private room with a hidden door, and went on to explain what he wanted in that room, which was a lot of 2x4s in the walls with, he called them eye hooks. And it was wild. It was wild. That was probably the most wild thing that I've had happen.
The private room.
Yeah.
I think we all need.
Yeah. Who does it?
We all need our own private room. Yeah, something to get away from the kids, shut the door.
And, a hidden door, it's got to be fully insulated. I'm like, I don't really want to know anymore what happens in here. And his girlfriend and wife at the time was just like looking at me, and I'm like, I don't really want to know.
Yeah, no comment. Play dumb.
Yeah,
No comment.
yeah, exactly,
All right, so
exactly. Just get the deal done.
talk to me a little bit. Talk to me a little about the early days in real estate. How did you end up getting into real estate?
I actually started back in college, doing some leases back in Austin. We did some flip houses during college. And then, when I got out of college, like just kind of deciding to keep doing it. And I was doing some flip houses after college and wasn't sure I was going to sales. My mom was in sales here at that point. My dad had gone into commercial, in Dallas, both in Dallas. And then I decided, like, if I was going to stay in Austin, come back to Dallas, ended up coming back to Dallas. And, there weren't a lot of male agents in Dallas at that point.
Really?
It was
female dominated.
And, yeah, definitely. Like 2005 or so. And, I interviewed with a couple different commercial brokerages and, then just kind of decided to go residential. And that commercial just felt like everybody I knew was in commercial. So I was like, let's just go down a different path and see what it's like. I've always obviously did it in college, loved houses, loved real estate, loved architecture. I felt like a good fit. I felt like, maybe I could bring a different level of a business to residential than what I saw.
Yeah. So was your mom an agent in Dallas?
She was. She worked at Brickstrom and Sotheby's. That's where I started. I was there for 12 years.
Got it. So your parents were in real estate. You grew up seeing real estate.
Yeah, no, before that, they had started a company called the P in the Pod. So
that baby store?
Yeah.
We used to shop there. Cribs and baby toys. And are you serious?
Yeah, so they started that in Houston and then came to Dallas and then grew it to like 54 stores and then sold it. And then started another company, like another maternity store after that. So, and my dad always made me work during high school and made me work all the time. I worked at their shops. I had to work at a coffee shop. I mean, always been working. So it's just, I liked real estate in the sense of like, there's no ceiling, as much as you wanted to work and what you could do. And if you know yourself, hopefully you're good.
Yeah. So that is a big point. So work ethic was ingrained in you early and entrepreneurism is what you saw. It's funny. The P in the Pod was a huge store and everyone in LA that when they have kids, they drive out to there's one on Ventura Boulevard in the valley. I think it's Sherman Oaks. I don't know if it's still there, but I mean, that's where we got our stuff, our crib and our strollers. And I don't know. We've never talked about this. Yeah, all those drinks we've had over the years and at retreats in certain cool bars. We've never talked about the P in the Pod. Speaking of Dallas, since you grew up in Texas and you grew up in Dallas, but went to school at UT. So talk to me not only about real estate and how it's changed, but talk to me how Dallas has grown and changed over the last, 20, 25 years.
It's funny. It's like growing up in a city when you're not in real estate and then you get in real estate, you just look at it a different way. You go to these people's houses and you're like, wow, I've been in that house and no idea what that was worth. Yeah. And it's like you just learn about real estate in such a different way you're in the business and looking at it, and
100%.
Dallas has just evolved immensely in the past 20 years. I mean, it's like even in the past 15 years, we moved a guy here from LA and he grew up in LA and he was telling me that they moved here in 2021 and, about a year ago, we went to lunch and I was like, how are you liking it? And he's like, this town reminds me of LA 25 years ago. So just like the growth pattern that's happened here. I mean, so what's so great is you see so many local big families just continuing to invest in Dallas and grow it. I mean, we have one of the biggest arts districts. We're the largest, we're the highest restaurant per capita in the country. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah. No, so the restaurant business is huge. That's what my dad did for the most part, would take restaurant tours, expand our businesses, help them grow, just like he did with his company. And they say if you can make it in Dallas, you can make it anywhere.
Is that the new saying now?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy though. There's a stat that's out there that people who live in Dallas eat out like 5 to 6 times a week. It's an average, and that's a little nuts.
That is nuts. And it's a booming town. It's had sort of that hockey stick growth. And I've heard that analogy to LA in the 80s before. And when I've spent time in Dallas with you and friends, and, I definitely sense that energy and growth, especially over the last, since COVID. It's just really exploded. And it really does just feel like one of the most significant American cities, right up there right now with LA and New York and Chicago. I mean, it really has changed a lot, and it seems
If
like
only we had
it's
a mountain, a
continuing.
river, or a valley.
You don't need it.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
mean,
have
you
income
don't see an
taxes. So
ocean.
why do you need a beach
That's right.
or a
That's
mountain?
right.
You can make wave pools and
That's
build
right.
your own
They
skis.
do. We build lagoons here. That got the ocean.
So now let's switch gears into answering that question with your real estate lens on. How much have you seen your real estate market, your residential real estate change in Dallas since you started?
Oh man, I mean, it's an easy 4 to 5x.
Wow.
Like it's just from days of buying certain property and lots at 350 to 700, and now they're trading at 1 million and 2.5 million, and now 7 to 10 million. Like it's
Huge.
crazy how much it's changed.
Huge.
But it's what's interesting is, like, I studied the market in your market, like with all these people moving here, and like just wanted to understand like how many different neighborhoods you guys have, and how many different pockets, and like you have so much inventory. And when you start looking at Dallas, I mean, we're still pretty small. Like when you start getting into like the inner works of Dallas, it's a small city. It's not as big as people think. I mean, you can fit Highland Park, University Park, parts of Preston Hollow, and almost all of Beverly Hills.
Well, that's interesting to think about. But yeah, that's a very small section. So that part of Dallas really is small. I mean, I guess the sprawling Dallas Fort Worth area is different, but yes,
it's huge. I mean, it's huge.
That
But
little
like
area,
the A+ locations. I think there's 3,300 homes in Highland Park and about 8,000 in University Park. About it.
Not a lot of homes to buy, especially if you got Kershaw and Stafford buying houses, right?
Well, I think the Kershaw is definitely here.
Wait, is it Stafford? Who is it?
Stafford's here too.
Yeah. Although he just bought a
here. Yeah,
he just bought a monster from a developer of mine. Yeah, in Hidden Hills, a monster. Yeah, so he's here. Yeah. Unbelievable. That's fun stuff. So talk to me about how I'd imagine as the prices have gone up and real estate has become such a huge business from the residential standpoint, has it just attracted tons of new agents over the last couple of years?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just such an easy business, So anybody can get their license and just sign on up, and you get to sell some houses.
Well, the first half of that statement I would agree with. It's easy to take your test and get your license. Second half of your statement, selling houses
is easy.
Is easy. Once you're in, it's almost impossible. But nobody seems to tell anybody that. It seems that we've got sort of a warped perspective from TV, and I love to ask agents that have built their business from the ground up, like, what are your thoughts on the $1 million listing TV agent culture and how that's impacted our industry?
I mean, in the beginning of those shows, it was interesting to watch. I still watch it sometimes. I like to see the product. I like to see the product, and I fast forward a whole lot. But I like to see the product. I mean, I think they've glamorized their business too much. I mean, it's. I wish it was as easy as they make it, but it's not. I mean, it's a tough deal. Like we grind it out.
Yeah, it's a very different portrayal from the reality. What you see on TV, and I always talk to people and feel like in markets where, and probably it's happened in every major market, but there's been such an influx of agents that think, oh, got it, big money, easy money. And it's just the polar opposite. Anyone that's been in it like us for a long time and taken their licks just knows, oh no, it's not that easy. Not at all.
Yeah, no. And it's not cheap either. I mean, it's not like, with these commission checks look big, but I mean, they get chopped up pretty quick between taxes and, paying for marketing, paying for assistance, and paying for things. You just not what people think.
Yeah, it becomes a lot smaller. Yeah. Talk to me about any big influential real estate characters that you've looked up to or were mentored by. Are there any people that come to mind or that have influenced you? I mean, your parents probably have, but other than your parents, are there any people that you worked under, or just even if you didn't work under, just were good mentors, people you looked up to?
I mean, yeah, I've got a tons of friends in the business that have been in it longer. I've always, just tried to be a student and learn from people. I mean, I've got, Amy Detweiler, Michelle Wood are such good friends, and they've been in the business forever, and and just kind of always talk to them and just want to hear, and like, I've always follow other people and other agents. I like to read the stories from, Mauricio growing his business and people like that, and just trying to understand and how to. That's the thing. I mean, you just always want to be a student. You always want to be a student and learn and grow. And this business is it's a constant growth pattern, and you've got to want to do that.
Yeah, it's like a never ending learning process.
Yeah,
it never ends. What's
it never ends. You never stop working.
Yeah. So as you're saying, it's not as easy as it looks. But what are some of the things, if you were going to give advice to agents that were like, "Hey, what is the advice you can give me to become a successful agent, whether they're new or in the business? What are some key things you would say? These are some things you just have to do."
I mean, the thing I've always told new agents is to drive the streets, learn the product, write addresses down, go run the MLS, go track the data. I mean, I have a thing in that where I like when people get in my car, we go show them houses, they ask me questions. I mean, I'm a little OCD and want to know everything. So I can tell them pretty much every sale probably for the past 10 years that's significant in these certain pockets we work in. So I'm like, maybe you don't have the contacts and maybe you don't, have the people yet, but if you know your stuff, like you're going to get a better chance. So it's like, just educate yourself.
Know the inventory, know the market, learn it.
That's right.
Like the basics.
Take the time. I mean, it takes years. I mean,
years.
I'm a little bit of a nut where I mean, once or twice a week, I'll just go drive for an hour or two. And if I see, survey flags on a property, I write it down, go look at it, go see the traded. Like, I want to know. I walk mid-construction houses that aren't my listings all the time just to see what's happening.
Yeah. Me too. Student of the game. I pull over and walk through them and get an idea. Yeah. And I feel like that so much of that is missed. It's like, be a student of the game, get yourself educated, even if you don't have clients, because at some point when you have a client, if you don't have the knowledge, it's pretty hard to convert.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, it's like, I've always told people, it's like, don't be the first one to bring real estate up. It'll come to you. They will bring it up.
Yeah.
But have the answer. Have the answer.
Yeah, it's a pretty popular topic. You can't get to too many parties or cocktail events where people don't ask about real estate and how's the market. And it's a pretty topic to broach. It's pretty easy topic
because people love it. People love it. They really do.
All right, so talk to me now. It's a two-part question. What are some of the worst things you've experienced as a real estate agent? And then I'm going to go the other side of the coin. What are some of the best things? Weigh both. Start with the negative. What is just some of the worst stuff, or the stuff that you just hate doing, or the thing you hate about the business?
I mean, it's probably being on 24/7. And that's probably that's on myself. I mean, not ever learning how to set boundaries, and but I'm a workaholic and I like to work, and then just say I want the deal. I want to work the deal. So it's just hard not to want to do it. But I mean, it's just, this business is 24/7. I mean, it's hard to set boundaries and have a life outside of it, especially when you want to run a big business and be available and try to get new clients. And it's just, it's hard to set boundaries.
So you just can't be part-time and just crush it and work a couple hours a week. And then,
the TV shows make it seem like you can.
I thought you could. You told me you could.
I thought that's what we're here to do, is for you to tell me and give me a little therapy and tell me how to work through that.
Yeah, that's the next hour. Once we shut off the screens, then we get a real estate therapy and tell you how we do it in LA. No, it's unfortunately, it's just as bad in LA. It is 24/7, and it is really hard to shut down, and it's a drain. And that's something we all have to learn to deal with balance. So talk to me about some of the things you love about the business. What are some of the best things about it?
I love the deal. and I love the work. And honestly, I love the people and the architecture. I mean, it's great to have so many opportunities, and just the excitement of getting a phone call and having an opportunity. And even when I get a deal, get a listing, even if I lose a listing, I appreciate the opportunity. And you want to work it. Like it's great to be able to meet so many different people and be in people's lives. I mean, you get so ingrained in your lives. It's just a difference in the business to where you're really in their personal life.
Yeah, it really is that. It's so hard to explain to people not in our business how personal it gets and how intertwined you get. And I always say friends become clients, clients become friends, and you're just intermeshed. And it's like a lifestyle that you can never shut off. Really,
Yeah,
it's pretty hard to. It's pretty
it's
tough.
like all my best friends are like clients and agents, and like we're all
in it.
intertwined.
We're all in it. So you got any funny stories you could share? Any cowboys showing up to these properties with guns and
I'll tell
horses?
you a funny story about a couple from LA. This is like in the beginning of COVID. The wife was calling me, and they were coming on setting houses and setting up stuff. And she's like, "Oh, we're coming in next weekend." And she's like, "So, where can I take the kids to go, like see the cowboys and ride horses and stuff?" I'm like, "In Dallas?" She's like, yeah, in Dallas. I'm like, "Well, we don't really have that here." It's like, we can take you to like the Fort Worth stockyards and you can see some of that, but it's not like that people riding down the streets, like, and parking their horse, like, and going to the bars. I mean, but it's just funny. People still think that.
Angelinos, but that is funny. That is funny because I can imagine if you've never been, you'd be like, yeah, but meanwhile, the stockyards is cool. I was at the stockyards earlier this year. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
They've really developed that.
It's becoming a great city. Fort Worth is awesome.
It really is incredible. There's so many little pockets and things that are going on. And I love how they've sort of preserved that old original feel of that part of it.
It feels like what Austin used to feel like to me. Like the way that the growth's happening there, like Austin's obviously become like a really true mini LA.
Yeah.
And like how much growth is there. But like, Fort Worth still got kind of that old money, old town feel, but still is just cool and sophisticated, but it's quiet. It's still like quiet. Yeah. There's a difference too in Dallas. Like it's like Dallas is a very wealthy town, but it's not as showy, or it hasn't been. I used to joke, like, I was like, it's like MTV Cribs ruined Dallas to where it made everybody want to show off all their money. But it's just like it just, as the city grows, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. I'm actually coming out there in a couple of weeks, so not the best time to go, but I'll see you there.
Hot.
I know. So I'll sit in air conditioning or by a pool, or you'll find me a wave pool. So being a producer at your level and juggling a business, a team, a family, kids, a life, talk to me. Do you have a routine, a workout routine, a wake up early meditation routine? And what is that day? How does Jonathan Rosen handle all this coming at you at all times?
I'm still figuring it out.
Oh, you don't have the answer?
No, man. Yeah, I get up every day at about 5:30, and I work out, and I do yoga like 4 or 5 times a week, and
that's good.
Work out, every day, and that honestly is a good hour and a half to myself. That is like put myself through enough stuff in workout to where I'm not thinking about other things, to where it's like I can shut my brain off because I don't have a choice.
I love it.
And like that is a very big thing to me that like helps me digest all the stress. And like, I mean, we are so much to so many people besides just their agent, and just, working through deals and eating emotions and helping them cope with not great things and trying to get there for them. And so it's like, the joke about the therapy is not a joke with us being a therapist to certain clients.
Yeah, I mean, we are. Haven't you put in your 30,000 hours of therapy training? We should be licensed by now.
That's about right.
So that morning routine sounds like that is your mini, mental health recharge, recover time, and then your day starts when is the work day just full on? Like when you're done with kids, school, or what Talk to me
No,
about.
I mean it starts when I get my first email like 5:30, 6:30 in the morning. I mean, it's hard not to just respond. I mean, I don't
Don't
like
look.
numbers.
Don't
I don't
look.
like numbers on my phone, so it's like I'm like, oh, there's a text. Let me get back to it. I'll forget to do it. There's an email. Let me get back to it. It's just it's a sickness to where you just like I want to just get back to people. And but
are you doing that during your yoga? You and
that's what I'm saying. That's the
checking
only
that
time
text.
that I don't have my phone.
Oh,
I'm doing
good.
a down dog and I'm texting at
Good.
the same time.
I don't want to see you.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I pulled my hammy up. Hopefully you have an hour where you shut it down, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm guilty. I try to do
I
it
shut
too.
it
And
down during that
sometimes
time.
I'll sneak one, but I'm not doing yoga. I'm doing other stuff. I love it. So talk to me some fun stuff. Where's some fun places you like to travel? Do you have any like spots that are like, hey, we got to get to our spot?
What's nice about Dallas is like Cabo's 2 hours and 20 minutes away. So that's such a great, like easy 2 or 3 day weekend. We're going there in a couple of weeks for my birthday. So that'll be nice. Like, it's like a nice, easy weekend just to kind of get away and recharge.
Yeah. So it's the same distance from LA.
Like, yeah, no, I know. For the longest time, I wouldn't take trips. Like, I wouldn't take trips. I always wanted to work, and thankful to Steve, like helping me make sure that like I book my every quarter trip and just take a break.
Yeah, you're talking about Steve Shull, I assume.
Steve Shull, yeah.
The master behind the masters, the Wizard of Oz.
To all of us.
Yes, to all of us. He's incredible. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen. He did a podcast pre-COVID, early, my first 5-6 years ago, in my office when we did it live, and he told his story. It was awesome. He talks about his Miami Dolphin days and his early. It was incredible. So shout out to Steve. One of my favorite people. So Cabo's an easy place. How about somewhere?
Get to Colorado a lot. We get to Colorado. Yeah. I mean, Colorado is like Aspen, Vales. Like we refer to it as like Texas, Dallas's backyard.
Yes.
Half of Dallas leaves in July, August when we're hitting 100 degrees on a consistent basis.
Yes, and anytime you're in Aspen, everywhere you meet is from Texas.
Yeah, literally.
Austin. When does the weather cool off? When does it get back? Is it late September, October?
I'm praying October, like late September. We honestly had a great July this year. It was like not 75 in the evening, but it was like 90 in the day. But it was nice. But I mean, we get some nice times every once in a while. But I mean, it starts cooling down into September, October.
Yeah. So, Jonathan, if you weren't a real estate agent, what do you think you would be doing or want to do? Quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys?
Hell yeah. Me and Troy. I've just had him train me all day.
Any thoughts on like what would the dream career be if you weren't doing what you're doing?
It's hard to have that mindset. It's hard to think outside that box. I mean, it'd probably be something in real estate that it's not development or I think in a further life from now, maybe I will get into development more and slow in the sales side. But I mean, it's hard to think about anything outside of what we do on a day-to-day basis.
It is.
And like, it's like I have so many clients that like run hedge funds and buy businesses and things like that. I'm like, hey, those guys can work from anywhere and do good things and make a ton of money, but I don't know if I'm smart enough for that.
But you're handsome enough.
Maybe,
it makes up for it.
That's right. It's like I told one guy, I was like, how'd you do the sales side for you? I can do a great pitch.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Drag me along. I'm in. Yeah, those $1 billion deals, those commissions are a little bigger than ours.
Yeah, that's a tad.
Just add a couple zeros.
That's
so
right.
Are you any books or podcasts that you like that you listen to that you would say, hey, these are some good things that, for whatever reason, it doesn't have to be business related, but anything that you like reading or listening
pretty
to?
Religiously, I'll listen to All In podcast.
All In.
Yeah. Like I like those guys. I mean, they talk about business, they talk about the world, and just give an interesting viewpoint,
Love it.
So it's pretty religiously what I listen to.
That's a good thing to listen to. Well, anything else before we wrap up that you want to share? Anything, fun stories or anything, words of wisdom? You got the mic. Otherwise, we can plan our real therapy session. We'll start in about 15 minutes.
Let's get it. We'll need that. No, I mean, I love this game. It's an awesome business. Like it's an awesome business, and it's a tough business, and it's not for everyone. And it's fun though. It is fun, but it's it can be tough. But
it's a grind, but man. Yeah, that's a grind, but there's a lot of positives, and clearly, you're all in on it, and no wonder you're so successful. I mean, it's hard work, and it's work ethic and commitment, and knowing your stuff, and you have all those ingredients. And it's interesting to hear, like when I asked you what you'd want to do, you couldn't even really think about it. It's like, this is it. I'm doing it. Maybe development, which is just sort of complementary to what we do. But I love it, man. All right. Well, I'm going to be in Dallas, so I'll ping you after this.
Yeah,
I'll need some therapy. Find me the coldest place that I could hang out in Dallas. I'm only there
coldest place and coldest drink. We'll get it done.
Both of them. Hey, this is your first podcast, so congrats, John. I love that I'm getting you on the podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. If you like what you heard and you love real estate as much as we do, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review and a comment. That would help our ratings so much. If you want to hear more episodes, you can go to The Deal with Danny Brown on YouTube or Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon, or anywhere else you consume your podcasts.